Stay with this. Let's speak to Michael Bociurkiw, who's a global affairs analyst and a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council. Welcome here to the programme. Your assessment, first of all, in terms of what we've seen actually happen today.
Well, it's literally a drop in the ocean, but it is a very important symbolic move. I mean, Matthew, just less than 24 hours ago, behind me, we heard that Russian missile strike, a cruise missile strike. It was thought then that there's no way that this operation will go ahead today, but it did. There's an estimated 500 vessels needed to get the rest of that 20 million tons of grain out. That will probably take 3 to 4 months if everything works smoothly. But, the local people here couldn't have been happier. What the restaurant manager where I am right now said when she heard the port working for the first time today, she said, "I broke down and cried." But the Russians have a very well-deserved track record of violating agreements, so it doesn't take much for this to fall apart either.
I'll come back to exactly that point in a moment, but in terms of the ships in the vicinity that may pick up and run with this, roughly how many are there? Do you know?
Sure, there are about 16 vessels left, including the Turkish flagship that was loaded the other day when President Zelensky and the G7 ambassadors were here. So they're waiting to go. But I think today's movement was a proving route. It will arrive in Istanbul tomorrow. And as far as that, if that all goes okay, then these other 16 can go on their way. And then more ships can come in to remove the grain, corn, and other agricultural products.
And give me your assessment of the variety of risks and hazards to all of this.
Well, it's absolutely huge. I mean, if you're a ship captain, you have to put your trust in the maps that the Russians and the Ukrainians provide to you, number one. And then secondly, there's the risk of the Russians not being pleased of how this operates. I mean, I was with the OSCE in 2014, 2015, you remember. We had a very similar joint command center in Donetsk. And when things weren't going the Russians' way, they walked away from it. So, but hopefully with Mr. Erdogan, Turkey's head, having so much skin in the game and putting so much effort into this, and also don't forget that Russian allies, Egypt and other countries, are literally on the brink of starvation. So I think this may keep everyone in their place so that this works.
There's, of course, also the risks of mines that we know are still out there. There's the problems with insurance. But in terms of the impact that this blockade has already had over the last 6 months, how quickly could that be eased in different parts of the world, do you think?
Pretty quickly. Even when the agreement was announced a few days ago, grain prices did begin to fall. And I know, for example, of one company in North America, a cereal producing company, they want to start dealing with their supply bottlenecks elsewhere in the world by sourcing in Ukraine. So it could have a very fast impact. But, it couldn't come soon enough for the residents of Odessa, the city of Odessa, who have been suffering, and also for the Ukrainian economy. The other thing that isn't working here right now are airports and civilian aviation, and huge amounts of money being lost from airlines, from overflights, and from tourists just not coming here at the moment.
Michael Bociurkiw, we have to leave it there, but thank you so much for joining us live here on the programme.
Pleasure.